Hello, and welcome to Stars in the Dark, episode 23. Shout out to all the Discordians out there, if there's anyone watching. Yeah, we're. I guess this is the start of a new season. We had kind of the denouement of the previous season last session, with some changes to the crew. I almost said the cast, but I guess that's the players. You're still the same. Fortunately, I'd be I'd be worried if you brought in subs at this point. Anyway, yeah, last session, Bria went to the cube, and instead, and Etma went on a shockboxing tour for Scargo, and now instead we have Val and Tycho who have joined us. I'm thinking maybe if we do this kind of like a season start, maybe we should do introductions, actually, do player and character introductions. Since I see Rich hasn't quite finished his pizza, I'll start with Steven.
Hi, my name's Steven, and my pronouns are he, him. And during this series, I'm playing Bade Kai, whose pronouns are she, her, and you can kind of see her up here. And Bade is the pledge, the new recruit, who might be ahead now in seniority from Val. We'll see. But she came from a gang of pickpockets and thieves and stuff like that, and gets into trouble. Yeah.
Nice, thank you. Yeah, Mark.
Hey, I'm Mark. I go by he or them. Now I'm playing Boko, who goes by he and him. Boko used to be a cop, is no longer a cop due to a bunch of unfortunate circumstances involving a bunch of people, some of whom are not around anymore. Yeah, I think he's the longest present member in the gang right now. So yeah, kind of de facto leader, but I'm not sure that he is totally aware of that, or well, we'll see. The old man, yeah.
Yeah, cool, thank you. Kai.
Hi, I'm Kai. I'm not Bade's last name. I'm a different Kai. I use they them pronouns. I'm playing Val Enos, the revolver. And Val is the baby daddy, the not quite defined partner of Bria, who has been relocated to the cube and was summoned to hopefully help out the crew in a tough time, and has provided a ship that we will move around in and be harder to find. And he got punched in the nose because he has a smart mouth. But Tycho is here with him, and I'm really interested to hear more about Tycho because we only had a little bit of screen time for Tycho. So that's me.
Yeah, Rich, let us hear about Tycho, and you, of course.
Hi, I'm Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. I am playing Tycho. This is the problem with using name generators, is that they give you sometimes word salads, but I'm going to embody this name to Bob Elv. That's what I'm going with, to Bob Elv. So Tycho to Bob Elv is the cousin of Bria, who came with Val to try to help get Bria's crew sorted out, maybe find a way to free his cousin. He's considers himself Val's right-hand man. He is a human, as you can see, and And yeah, that's all we know about him, except that he happens to be mercurial and backgrounds noble and underworld, which is fun. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. I start. We have some things to. Yeah, I have blah, blah, too many things in my brain. I start with wishes, and then I'll go into what I think we will need to deal with this session, and some things I'd like to get into. These are mostly new wishes. I think we've handled most of the old ones, including seeing the lair explosion, which we did get to see. So see more of the new characters. This came up in various ways. Kai wants Bade to find out something bad about Val. We'll see what that may be, and if it shows up this session. Also, we want to know Tycho's real feelings about the situation he's found himself in here. We want to explore new crew stuff, and we want to see some dirty stormies, some beat up stormtroopers, not just the nice, fancy, gleaming, polished ones. So we still have some downtime stuff to deal with. I think we need to familiarize ourselves a bit with the ship. That's going to be the new crew lair. I'd like to get in scenes with all the character pairings. That's 6 scenes. We'll see if we get everyone in. Bade and Boko are more familiar with each other, so that's less important. But I'd like everyone else to get a chance to have scenes with each other. We also have some like background and things to settle, which I don't think we got through everything last session and in the time in between. Like, I don't think we've settled on the new patron. If you want to establish that right away, that's also something we could do later. There's also the rules thing that was brought out about an XP boost for new characters. I thought about it, and I'm not sure what the best way to handle it is. The default way if we go by the book, then no, you don't get anything. It's just you start over as a new character. You just have to work your way up. That's one way to do it. I was thinking maybe trying to figure out some way for each playbook to have their own type of extra XP, but I'm not sure if that's viable. And maybe you could do something with the XP triggers, like find an extra category or something, but you also have to figure out then what's the cutoff point, when do you stop giving out extra XP for new characters. It's tricky. So I haven't settled on anything yet, but I'd be happy to.
Did you consider not changing any of the triggers, but just doubling the amount that I get for a little while?
That's definitely an option. Yeah.
And then I don't know, like 3 advances, 5 advances, whatever it's called in Blades in the Dark. Like that's when you're like, okay, go back to regular. Like I'm going to start with 3. If we don't feel like it's good, go to 5 or something like that.
I was going to suggest the move that Bade has, which is you get an XP whenever you take a Devil's Bargain. It's really nice because it draws in the story. So basically, something bad happens, right? You get a Devil's Bargain every time in order to get that XP. So
yeah, I like that one, but it's also kind of, it works really well for the pledge, but I'm not sure if it works well for all characters.
I agree.
but yeah, I would like to have that sort of thing that ties into the mechanics if possible, but it's also yeah, that's the shit. Yeah. Sorry, that was from
Just
chat.
to,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, that's a tangent. I'm perfectly fine with Tycho being a starting character. He is not my permanent character. I just thought it would be fun as part of the Val introduction if I play the red shirt. Sorry to cross the streams there with different star media. But we could go, just to throw out, we could go with Val gets a few advances like right off the top because he's an experienced character, and then just leave XP as it is. Just like, hey, you get, just pick X advances and play from there. That's a possibility too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, you mentioned it, but like,
yeah, I just I'm not sure what's the best way to do it. I'm not against giving out a few extra advances, but it's also I think I should Google up some discussions of this just to see if there are any other. I for some reason I didn't think of doing that until now.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it depends on part of the reason that this recording's being made. Do we want to push the rules as written and see how that works? Whenever I joined the game, it was partway through everyone else.
Yeah.
But I kind of tainted that experiment with the move that I took. But we can try it normal, it just is what it, I guess we are trying that with Tycho, right?
yeah. Kai, how do you feel about it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not muted. All I ask for is that when I fail, it not be described as incompetent. That's I just don't want to like have a story where it's like, we called in this guy, he's going to help us, and he drops his blaster every 3 seconds. Like I just
yeah.
I want I want to come in and look competent, and just cause a lot of trouble because the dice aren't going to work for you for quite a while. And I think just go with rules as written. That's all I ask for, is just don't make me look like an idiot. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, my baseline for this is that the player characters are competent. You're not bumbling fools who don't know what they're doing. I mean, having one die in an action, that means you know what you're doing. It just means you won't always succeed because that's how dice work. Yeah. I think we'll go for it, rules as written for now. And if a couple of sessions down the line, if we start to, or earlier than that, if we start to feel like the newer characters aren't able to step up in the way that they should, based on the fiction, then I think we need to look at it and see what we can do to fix that. But I think the one reason I'm a little bit hesitant, or two reasons. One is I kind of want to play it by raw, because that was one of the reasons I did this from the beginning, was to learn the game, because I want to hack it, but to do that I need to know how it works. And the other reason is that part of the like background philosophy, or whatever you want to call it, is that it's the crew that lives on, while the members of the crew kind of are expected to be replaced. And I think if you make the replacement characters if you give them too much of what the characters who left had, then you kind of lose some of that back and forth or like ebb and flow of the crew of the people shifting. But that's pure on the other hand, that's purely on the mechanical side. You'll still have that on like the fiction side, the character side. But I think since Kai, who is the one who's most affected by this, if you're fine with playing it without any I don't know extra, I don't want to call it favors, but you know any special treatment, then we'll try it that way. We'll see how it works. But I want everyone to be aware of this situation, and just if anyone feels like no, this isn't working, bring it up and we'll solve it some way. Cool. Yeah, I think I made a list on the Slack about things we need to. Yeah. I think we decided on smugglers. No one protested, at least.
Works for me.
We didn't land on a patron. I made a list later on about with some suggestions. We didn't settle on the prison claim. I have not added that to the character keeper. I've been very lax in my GM duties here. So even though I had 2 weeks, or maybe because I had 2 weeks, I don't know. I've been a bad GM. I'll make I'll make a note about that again. I didn't add those, did I? Now I'm starting to wonder. I'm starting to second guess what I've done and not.
Could the patron be somebody on 1314 that we're trying
Absolutely.
to bring stuff to? So they might just be someone that's completely new in faction altogether.
Yeah, I put some suggestions in the Slack.
Oh, my bad.
Some of those are completely new. Some are well known.
Shit, I should have read that. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't expect anyone to do anything between sessions unless we've explicitly talked about it.
You guys, I worked hard to make a private Slack channel, and you guys just ignore it. Or
even
it's no
it
big deal.
existed once, so that's bad for me.
I had to come hat in hand to Lowell, our grand poobah, and say, "Hey man, can you do this?" And then he did it. That's fine. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
it's really good to have it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, jobs. I did not settle on any jobs either. I think running guns for the rebels is something we can definitely do. I think someone mentioned that last session. More generally, for the structure of this session, I think we'll take this as like an extended downtime period. Like it's going to be a couple of weeks at least until you do the next job, rather than a few days like it's usually been. Just to give you a chance to settle in, give the characters time to talk to each other, add some more gang members, perhaps. I've added some more suggestions there to the NPCs tab. They're at the bottom as usual. Potential recruits. Yeah. Let me check. I think your gang size now, you're tier 2. That means your default gang size is 12 people, and you've currently got like 4. So, but also you don't need to specify each individual. You can say, yeah, we want some we recruit some weak ways from the Warren or something. I think we're reaching the point where keeping track of each individual member of the crew at all times is starting to become counterproductive. We can sort of name them when they appear on screen rather than having everyone specified beforehand. Anyway, I think I've talked enough now. So I want to kick it over to Kai to talk a bit about the ship. This is a Rebel cruiser, I think. It's a hefty ship.
Okay. Which one do we decide on?
I
Is it
think we went with this Old Republic cruiser, the one that's been linked in the.
I mean, it's technically your ship, which I just threw in because Undished put a pic of deck plans for a Corellian Corvette, so I grabbed some
Oh,
other
sorry,
stuff.
did I get the wrong one? Sorry, I googled Republic cruiser and that's what came up. I probably think.
Oh yes, thank you, Mark. Yes, that's exactly what I wanted.
Okay, so the Republic cruiser is the okay.
Yeah, if that's okay.
Yeah, it seems like a good size.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
wish there were floor plans. That's all. I like deck plans. That's all. But that's fine.
Well,
it's a thing I could
the
create
ones-
in
It's
Google Drawing if I want to,
Yeah,
or it's fine.
Sorry, I got the wrong one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
got like the
mean-
2 levels too. So it's yeah.
I mean, it does have breakouts, so it gives you a little bit of
Yeah, we got
Gives
the
me none of what I want, but it's okay. I am a smart person who can make a Google Drawing or just crib from somewhere else and say, this is my room. I don't know why that thrills me, but this is my room. This is our lounge. That kind of stuff for some reason, just, I guess it's the OSR part of me. I don't, who knows?
well, I can imagine that one of the ones that we've linked, the floor plans that we've linked can be it. It doesn't have to, like, the picture of that doesn't have to be exactly what the cruiser looks like.
Yeah, let's
So-
go with that for the exterior, though. It looks way better than a Corellian.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
yeah, and it shows like where the bedrooms are, like on top of the middle there, and there's a captain's quarter down here on the front. So that's pretty cool.
We
Like
got
the
Okay.
It's
breakdown.
all good.
It's got an escape pod with the lounge in it. That's awesome.
So I dropped the link into the message that's got a rough kind of draft of a deck plan, sort of.
Let me see. Oh yeah, it works.
Yeah, it yeah, cool.
Wow,
yeah,
this
I
is
was-
a rabbit hole that I would fall so deep into. Good Lord.
I love this rabbit hole. But yes, let's we've got an answer. It's what we wanted. It's perfect.
Yeah, cool. So you have this ship. What do you want? What do you want to say about the ship?
Oh, okay. Well, this is the one that I rescued the Alderani on. This is the one I've had the entire time. It has a couple of different transponders in it, so it can pretend to be something else from a long distance. It definitely needs repair, but not to move, just like, general repairs that if you don't take care of, or it's gonna add up. There's one room where somebody that was on the ship for a while, like, completely destroyed it, and it hasn't been fixed yet. Maybe a Wookiee got angry or something. And it smells and things are broken, and like, we just avoid it because that's a lot of work to get done. One more trait I'd like to give it is something about it. You can see like what would I want to do? Those Rich, those things where the Empire will draw you out of hyperspace. What are
Oh.
those?
Wow. Okay. That is basically
it's just
like gravity drives.
Yeah, it's just it can detect those a little bit better than other ships.
Oh,
That's
cool.
all I want to say is like
I thought you wanted those. I'm like, oh dear.
no,
Oh dear.
no. Just it sees a little bit better than others, and I kind of anthropomorphize it as being like sight and stuff like that. So it's
Very
kind of
cool.
like a bird or a falcon for me or something like that. Yeah, maybe it was originally going to be like a singularity science ship or something like that. So it's got a little more gravitic sensors or something. Word, technobabble stuff.
Nice.
And please add to it. Like I want everybody to say something about it, please. I want to know more about this ship, and I want to hear everybody's opinion on it.
Yeah, let's go around the horn and see what everyone else wants to add. We'll start with Rich. Heiko, I assume you've flown with this ship for a while.
Oh, yes, of course I have. There's one particular room in the ship where the plating is extremely thick, and I've rearranged and also used some like polymers in order to make it, in my opinion, my humble opinion, the perfect place to listen to Rhodian opera, which I find quite compelling and interesting.
You don't want to impose your interest on everyone else, or is it just that you want the perfect acoustics for yourself?
Perfect acoustics.
Yeah.
If other people eavesdrop on such beauty, that's quite all right with me.
Nice. Boko, what have you discovered about this ship that you find interesting?
I think the lower escape pods in the middle of the ship there have been used and have not been replaced.
Yeah, cool. Faye.
Maybe by y'all or maybe by someone before.
Yeah, so I think that I'm going to make an NPC. He can be a part of our gang. And you were saying that it was in disrepair. I think it's old and the paint's peeling and all that kind of stuff. But to keep it in the sky, we have, like, I think we have an Ognot tech who's running around constantly trying to repair stuff, and fires start and he runs out with a fire extinguisher and puts it out and that kind of stuff. I'm gonna name him.
Can it be the Ugnaught that you played in the Revolutionary game?
Maybe. Let me look that up.
Yeah, we were using paintings or something like that.
Okay.
So I got shot and killed in it. Anyway, you played an Ugnaught. You played it really well. I'd love to see that character.
Awesome. I'll look that up.
Cool. Yeah. Sorry, I lost my my trail there. Yeah. We kind of need to transfer your crew to the new crew sheet. And I should hide all the ones that are irrelevant. There. Yeah. So now you're smugglers. I think not everything you had will translate over in a meaningful way, but we'll see what we'll kind of. I think we'll go through this together and see how it works out. Smugglers by default, smugglers give you training in prowess, vehicle as a cohort, and the truck, a truck that comes with the lair. That's a feeder truck, not yeah. I think what we should do here is look at the things you have. You already have insight training, prowess training, and mastery. Those should just transfer over. No, nothing strange about that. And oh, I just realized I doubled up on barge for things here. Yeah, that doesn't matter. I'll check the barge crew upgrade, which means your lair has mobility, which is now it's a ship instead of a barge, but that's in the situation you're in, that's kind of the same thing. Other things you used to have are hidden, quarters, and a double secure. I don't think hidden quite works for for a ship. That's not really doesn't transfer over. Quarters do, because you definitely have quarters on the ship. I think at least one secure should transfer over, but maybe not both. Maybe that's something you have to work on to tighten things up, because I assume this ship used to fly between planets and not like inside a planet, as you're kind of doing now, which means that there's different considerations there. You don't usually have to worry much about borders out in space, but here, if you're flying around here, that's a thing that. But I think we'll replace that secure check mark with one for vault, because I think you have enough space here that you can store some more enough cash and the equivalent securely that you should be able to have that. So I should do this. Yeah. So now you have one section of vault, which means you can store 8 creds instead of 4, which was the maximum. Your rep transfers over, and you're here. You still have a weak hold, or did you go up to? No, you have a stronghold.
And the wanted level is 3 now instead of 4.
You're tier 2.
Right, our
okay,
wanted level.
Oh, wanted level. Yeah. I was coming to that.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You have a wanted level of 3. It drops 1 because Bria went to prison. We discussed a bit if it should drop further. I'd like to hear some discussion on that. Again, this is kind of a playing by the rules thing, but it's also a thing of the fiction. I mean, that have things changed enough that you're less wanted than you were before? Yeah, if anyone wants to weigh in on that.
Yeah, if and it is not necessarily true that it is, but if they think that, in the explosion or through whatever means that like the bulk of the gang is dead or disbanded, that might be worth knocking off a level, because no wanted level on a gang doesn't exist.
Yeah, and from what you've definitely seen that that's how they're playing it for the public. Like, yeah, we blew up this dangerous terrorist headquarters and we captured the leader and that sort of thing. That's their story. I mean, they would still like to grab you, but I think with the rather dramatic change, both in gang composition and what you're doing I think I think we could knock off another wanted level. 2 is still not great, but it also puts you at a position where if someone does go to prison, now they're away for a few months instead of a couple of years, which means that it's a more viable solution in some situations to allow yourself to be captured, maybe rather than where you were before, where it was kind of, yeah, we going to prison is almost like the character dying, which is a very different thing.
I appreciate you got there. That was where my head was okay, yeah, the wanted level went down, but that mechanic forces us to play in a similar way that we played
Yeah.
before, but drop it down a little bit more, and it actually gives us more flexibility and choice. So I appreciate that.
Cool, thank you. And those 2 heat points, I think we can knock them off. It's just it's been enough time, and you've changed your modus enough that I think that that shouldn't be relevant. You don't have any holdings, and then we get to your. Yeah, I'll let you keep your XP. You're 1 away from from an advance. I don't want to steal that from you, so I'll just take those off. And then we get to your special abilities. And here I think we need to think about which ones are sensible to transfer over and which maybe no longer fit with the fiction of what the gang is at this point. So I'll just go through them and we can talk about it. Dangerous, that's nothing strange. That's just how kind of the training and that sort of thing. I'm not sure how to do this. Let me see. I will. You know, I just the sheet is behaving weirdly. I'm trying to just. Yeah, sorry, I'll do that later. I'll add. Oh, that looks terrible. Sorry about the. I would think that clearing the rows would remove everything, but no.
I think we need to take the data validation off of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I found that one, and then we'll reset. Now it's nice and blank. I'll just paste them in below here, and we I'll make it look nice between sessions. So dangerous, no question about that. Themes, that's, yeah, fear is as good as respect. You may count each wanted level as if it was turf. I'm a bit hesitant about that one. I think you're kind of, if you're changing directions into being smugglers instead of being like fighters in various ways that as you were before, then I think maybe that one doesn't transfer over as well. We'll have a look after we've gone through the list. If there's like, yeah, all 5 of these are don't make sense anymore, you'll get some new ones. I don't want to just take things away, but I don't want to maybe transfer everything over 1 for 1 either. We'll see where we end up. Forged in the fire, each piece has been toughened by cruel experience. You get +1 die to resistance rolls. I think that one still makes sense. You are still the same people, even if you're not necessarily behaving in the same way in every situation. War dogs. When you're at war, your crew does not suffer -1 hold, and pieces still get 2 downtime activities instead of just 1. I think that one should transfer over as well. The old PCs have definitely been through this, and I think both Val and Tycho, the way I've understood it is that you've been part of the rebellion in some way. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah. Almost as
cool.
much as we claim.
Yeah. So I think you're also used to being in bad situations and having people after you who are more powerful than you. So that's fine. Cleaners, if you have time to clean up a location where you killed someone, you don't take any extra heat for killing. Also take +1 die on any action to hide or destroy evidence. How do you feel about that one? Is that something you want to keep, or is it what do you think? I'll throw this to Mark. Actually, I think Boko is the one who's most associated with this. Boko and Bria, probably.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to keep it, because we have done a fair bit of killing and have experience cleaning up somewhat.
Yeah,
You know,
cool.
that's one that like goes along with the characters.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Then we get to the patron. You will have a patron. We just haven't settled on who yet. Predators. When you use stealth or subterfuge to commit murder, take +1 die on the engagement roll. I'm not sure we ever remembered to use that one. And you didn't often use stealth or subterfuge to commit murder. It was just you just killed people. Is that something you feel makes sense?
I'm willing to let it go.
Yeah, I think that's more. It's more most. I think it's primarily a Bria thing. She's the stealthy one. It's not an Etma thing. She's kind of,
Hence me letting it go without even asking for anything in recompense.
yeah. Old schematics. You have access to old schematics that show passages, doorways, service tunnels, and other forgotten structures. I definitely think you should keep that one. It makes sense for what you're doing now, and it's not something that's really tied to anything that's not there anymore. Ooh. So you still have you have one free advance. You have your gang of thugs, your fearsome, unreliable thugs. If you want to, since there will be a change in the, I mean, you'll have an influx of new people. I assume some of them would be from the crew of the ship, perhaps. So if you want to change the tags on the crew, that would be fine. I think we could even change their type if you want. If you no longer want thugs, if you want this gang to be something else. I'll have to look at what the options are.
In my head canon, and we can definitely like change that. In my head canon, I think Janusz has left. I think like his fingerprints were all over that bomb or that explosion, and that he might be on the lam or something like that. But if he sticks around, that's cool too.
I'm fine with him leaving. It's kind of your character.
No, I get it. I get it. I just
I like I blew up our old hideout as his farewell kind of thing, and if he shows up again, it's a guest starring surprise kind of
I'd like
deal.
that.
I think that's cool.
I'd like that.
Yeah, he already had some stuff going on with Croft getting killed and that whole hubbub. So
we had to have a talk to him and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, he wasn't entirely happy with the crew anyway, and maybe now with Bria and Etema no longer there, and Boko was the one he had the direct confrontation with. And Boko now is kind of the leader, maybe. Boko and Val, we don't really know that yet, but definitely Boko has kind of moved up. I think that means that for Janusz, this is a reasonable place to jump ship, almost literally. But you have your gang, and I'm just going to remove Croft now. He's no longer crossed out. He's just not there anymore. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there are 5 gang types. There's adepts, who are scholars, tinkerers, occultists, and chemists. Here, I think that would be like techies and that sort of thing. Techies, medics, maybe. There are rooks, who are con artists, spies, and socialites. There's rovers, who are sailors, carriage drivers, and deathland scavengers. That kind of makes sense. If it's the majority, it's like the crew of the ship. There's scouts, who are scouts, infiltrators, and thieves. And then there's thugs, who are killers, brawlers, and roustabouts. It's a lovely word that I'm not entirely sure of the connotations of. But yeah, any thoughts?
Well, I did introduce an NPC. I put them on the NPC sheet, a droid that is in like the scrapping, disassembling, moving things around, and like a chop shop. That's what I'm looking for, chop shop.
Yeah.
So if we had a group that converted hard to move but valuable stuff into pieces for us, like, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what that game would be, but
that could be an expert, because there's 2 kinds of cohorts. There's gangs, who is like a bunch of people who are good at one thing, kind of, or like they're one of those types. And then there's experts, who is an individual who is good at a specified thing. And that sounds like it could be an expert. Yeah, we're coming up on time. We've spent about an hour on this. I'd like to get some scenes in, but I think we should take a break. Is 5 minutes enough? Yeah, so we're back after our break. I'm going to make a couple of suggestions. You have, as by default, you have a truck vehicle because you're smugglers. I think we could change that to something else, but I think it's sensible. It's reasonable that you have some sort of smaller vehicle that you transport on the ship that you can use when you've landed or something like that. But I think we can specify what that is. Doesn't have to be a truck. I would suggest that your gang become rovers. This designation, I don't think the designation really matters that much, but just to follow the ones that we have here, that makes them sailors, carriage drivers, and deathland scavengers, which kind of fits for a spaceship crew. And I would suggest that the chop shop droid is designated as an expert, replacing Janusz, kind of, because he was a demolitions expert before. We can figure out what we want to call that, if it's a chop shop droid, if chop shop droid is its expertise, or if it's if you want to describe that in some other way. Those were just my ideas there. Sorry. You also get to pick one, since you have one advanced banked, you get to pick one special ability. Normally, I think you get an additional, if we had created the crew from scratch, you would have had one anyway. I don't think, since we're carrying over quite a lot from before, I think we'll forgo that one. And we're not creating this crew from scratch. But now I would like to get into some scenes. I think I'd like to start with Val and Tycho, because you're the new characters to the others and to the crew, but you know each other from before. So I think, unless you have a different suggestion, I think this is when like everyone's on board the ship now. You've met the gang. You know who everyone is, but you don't really know them. And just hear your thoughts about the about where you are.
Are we in dock? Are we flying? Where do you think we should start this, Captain?
I'd like to be, oh, that actually reminds me. I'd like to be in our primary hidden like dock or whatever. Or not hidden, but like
Yeah, I think I thought a bit about this, and like this size of ship isn't used for like normal transport
right,
within the level.
right.
But you could have a permit or something. I mean, you could have greased some hands so that you can just, yeah, you get to fly this ship, park it over there. It's fine.
Okay.
Do we
Since
want to
you,
say, did we say we
Yeah,
wanted to have some place to stash it, like it around the fringe or somewhere, or where were you thinking of?
yeah, we were talking about like using the rend as a mode of, or as a venue of travel up and down between the levels, and then having the ship stationed in the fringe makes sense. That's close to the rend, but you're not like out in the dark and the worst of it.
And so it made me think that maybe when we get unspecified turf, those are extra places that we can park, right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Right. So basically just, when we have to bug out, we have a place set
New
up for it.
ports in the storm, as it were.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And it might be kind of neat to have like at least like at least know the NPC that's like there that's agreed to let us do it, that kind of stuff. So that then the turf has personalities, right? Like, oh, do we want to go to the guy we still owe money to, which is safer, or do we want to go to the one that, if we fall asleep, we might get killed, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, so we're in our main parking spot, I guess. Tycho, I respect your insights and opinions. What do you think? Have we signed up for the wrong thing here? Should I just get us back to where we were?
I actually imagined that this crew was much smaller.
Huh.
I do worry that we've bitten off more than we can chew. But Captain, if you want to give it a try until we figure out how we're going to deal with getting Bria free.
Right.
I'm your man.
I think they were listening to Bria, like she was the leader. So
hopefully we won't have to murder one of them to prove your point.
I guess we could call for elections. Get a
We're
charter?
going to pretend it's a democracy at the start. You're the captain.
This Bade kid looks like barely out of the crib. She's barely out of the crib.
Yes.
I don't like the fact that Boko used to be a cop, but we all used to be something.
I actually find that quite comforting that he used to be a member of those we're trying to elude. Should be very valuable. Think of the angles, Captain.
Angles. And you can call me Val. I mean, come on. Captain is just too formal.
I like calling you Captain. You wouldn't deny me of that, would you?
No. Noted.
I won't fight you over it. So if you insist.
No. Please continue. Getting pleasure from that. All right. I think what we need to do is just do a normal run and see how they fit in. See if they can learn. How quickly do they learn? And I'm asking you to take notes, find flaws, find angles, while I try to keep us out of the wrong hands. You up for that?
Of course, Captain.
Where were you before you came to work with me?
Far, far away from here. Probably never heard of it. It's a sector off the beaten path. Nothing noteworthy.
Well, if that didn't shape you, I don't know what did, but you are indispensable to me.
What is it that you need from me, Captain? You don't have to give me such flowery words. Just ask.
I want you to get every piece of information on these guys. I want their mother's birth certificates. Like, I want to see it all. And I don't care how you do it.
Now that last piece, that made it much more interesting.
Can you handle that?
Of course I can, Captain. You can
Okay,
trust
then.
in me.
So he shakes himself and gets his neck. All right, he's like, all right, well, let's go be captain-y. And walks into whatever room, and you could like hear him say like, I don't know, Bade, Boko, my bees, how you doing?
Tycho just grins. And he'll follow after.
So probably hanging out in the lounge-ish area. It's like, yeah, just getting settled in. Thanks
Yeah.
for opening your home to us, I guess.
This bird is happiest when every part is being used. That being said, he looks to the Wookiee room. He's like, we do have some places that could use some repair. Hmm.
We have some guys that are kind of at loose ends right now, and best keep them busy.
Got it. Got it. Let's do that then. Let's do that then. So let's get to the. Is there a meeting room, Rich, on the floor plans?
Sure. I actually
Yeah, it looks like there's a there's like a lounge area, and then there's
Uh-huh.
kind of like a formal dining room next to it that looks like it has a big round meeting-ish table. So it could
Okay.
be either of those.
Basically, Revolver's like going to explain the new job and how it's going to go down. I don't know that we need to role play it because I have no idea what the job is. But I think this is where maybe I should make a command roll to see how well people accept my captain-y nature. Would that work? Or do you guys want to roll like a resistance roll or something like that? Oh my goodness. Rules.
I'm happy just playing it out, but I'm easy, however.
Okay. Well, again, I don't know what the job is. So yeah. He's mostly professional. He likes to crack jokes. He tries to get people to speak up. But he's not always listening. So that's how I would describe his captain style, if you want to just role play it.
There is actually a thing in the rules about PC versus PC, which hasn't come up before. So let's
Well,
see if
well.
that- well, same as the rules for PC versus NPC action. It's still action rolls, resistance rolls, fortune rolls, effects and consequences, but it's good at the guidelines. Post the game, agree to the resolution method, abide by their style. Yeah, so it's just there are some general advice. Yeah, I think. Yeah, what is Revolver? Should I call? Do you want me to call Val Revolver or Val?
I think all of his contacts know him as Revolver,
Cool.
but the people that he works with, he wants them to call him Val, as obviously we saw with Tycho earlier.
Yeah.
So
I think I sometimes mix what's on the pad in the character keeper and what's on the screen, but I think I try to go by what's on the screen. So since you have Revolver there, I'll try to use that, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Just when I as the GM and when I'm addressing your character, I guess that's the thing.
Yeah, Val will be good for the character, and I'll change
Cool.
my Zoom to reflect that.
Yeah, cool. So what's Val? Val, you want the rest of this crew you've taken on to accept you as the leader? Is that?
Yeah.
So
but I want to go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just say he wants it to be gentle but like solid, right? Like,
yeah,
let's do this together. But when I say to do something, I expect you to do something.
Yeah, it's your ship, you're the captain, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So Boko and Bade, how do you feel about that? So is this something you talked about beforehand? Before, like, how do we handle this? Or
Actually, we probably talk about it after the fact, after like if that was laid out to us. Yeah.
After we got to a safe place.
Yeah.
Bade's super happy to be like, oh yeah, you've got a ship we can hide out on? Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about who's in charge.
Yeah, I think Yeah, I think Boko's attitude is like, if you want to take on the responsibility for all of these people, you are welcome to. However, I know Bade and I know Edema when she comes back, and if it comes down to someone has the final word, it's really up to the crew as a group to see who does what.
Yeah. So I don't think there's any real opposition here.
Yeah.
It's not like Boko's not trying to take over. He's willing to
No,
let
he's like, yeah, have fun.
he's willing to let Val call the shots as long as Val behaves responsibly towards the rest of the crew. If that's how that's how I understood what you're saying.
Yeah.
And is that something you make explicit, or is it just
I think if Val comes at me with like, so I'm the captain and this is my ship, and when I say goes, I'll be like, yeah, welcome to the shit show, man. It's all you. Like, have fun.
I think you'd say something like, tell me more. Describe the shit show.
Yeah, I think Boko gives him a abridged, arc. Just like, how it is. You're in whatever line of business you're in. Things don't always go smoothly, and sometimes they don't go smoothly in sequence, one after another, and things can get pretty hairy. Like, you wind up exploding a ship that you're hiding out in, so the Imperials will get off your back, or getting thrown in jail because you ran away from an assassin. Lots of things go wrong.
Should I expect that you you will be seeking out another giant artifact to have people go to war with them over?
Not seeking out, but sometimes these things just find you and you got to roll with them. What kind of trouble finds you?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Bogart. You're right. It's all trouble, just different flavors.
But end of the day, this is your ship, so I'm happy to hang out here as long as you'll have us. Your roof, your rules.
Well, I am going to go with the not necessarily smartest thing, but to say that if Bria worked with you, then I'm going to work with you.
Fair enough. Hopefully you won't wind up in jail.
He looks to have, like he looks for Edema to be punching somebody in the nose. He's like, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And then I think that's the end of the scene for me. Unless Bade, do you want to say anything about it, Bade, like live?
No. I think Bade is actually not in the room at this time. Bade.
Oh, okay.
Bade is up in the upper deck staterooms, like found the most luxurious place on the ship, probably opened the captain's quarters and went, well, that looks lived in. I'll go find, and found like this is meant for like traveling dignitaries, or used to be. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is the life. And I'm gonna, lie down there and just kind of spoil myself. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I can see it in my head so well. Just one of those things where you just plop down on the mattress.
Yep. And if I'm not mistaken, this place has a decent sound system. Someone said that they were listening to music. Is that right?
Rhodian opera.
Yeah. So I think
Opera.
I've probably gone through some different, playlists and found something decent, some kind of entertainment. Yeah.
Star Wars Spotify. Got
this
it.
is the life.
Palpatoons.
Palby makes 46, please.
Okay.
I have a question. I think Tycho maybe comes into the room as you're relaxing, Bade. And I have a question, like Rich. Sorry for the loud background noise if you can hear my son. There's no inside voice, and I should close my door. I've never, like, we've talked about Babe being young, but the picture you've chosen for Babe is a age that looks late teens, 20s. And so I've never had exactly a picture in my head of how old you would cast for that character.
Yeah, I was thinking something between 16 and 18, something in
Okay.
that range.
Cool. Thank you.
In my mind, it's kind of like Molly Ringwald in the Space Hunter 3D movie, like spunky, like adult, but still young.
You're with that, Steven?
Yeah.
Now I have to go watch, what did you call it? Space Hunter 3?
Oh, it's Space Hunter in the Forbidden Zone, originally in 3D, but yeah. Wow, it's something. Yeah, it's real good. It's got Michael Ironsides in it. Yeah.
I don't think it's good from the way you're talking.
It was one of those movies that was like on HBO, like when HBO only had like 4 movies. It was like that, Beastmaster, and
Wait a second. We're not disparaging Beastmaster here.
no, these are all movies that I've watched 1,000 times, and they're great.
Okay, good. For a second there, I was afraid that we were going to have a chat about Beastmaster.
No, but it is of the same caliber. So
So
Okay.
Tycho, you came in while I was kind of relaxing and making the place my own, right?
Yeah. And I don't say anything for a little bit. Then I head over to, I'm imagining that there is a cabinet, right? And he'll open up and flip up a couple of actual glasses. And he grabs a decanter and pours some spirits into 2 glasses. Makes his way over with the music playing. Makes no attempt to reduce the volume, and he'll offer you a glass. It's obviously some kind of intoxicant.
Yeah, no problem. She kind of takes it timidly a little bit because she's not used to this type, right? She's used to like grog or something like that.
Right.
That they have in 1313. And, kind of takes a sip and then, ooh. And I think she drinks it, like guzzles it a little bit. Like not, I'm going to savor this, like, ooh.
I think he reaches over and just kind of touches the glass so that you can't tip it all the way up. Savor it. Savor it.
And I think there's like a little bit coming out of the corner of her mouth, and she's like, oh.
There won't be any more bottles of that. Not ever, actually.
Well, you have to live for the moment, right?
Live for many moments. Yes?
Yes, but we're here today, so let's drink up. That was delicious. Where'd you get it?
Well, actually, our captain got it off of a passenger.
I should have expected as much. He looks like he has good taste.
He does. Excellent taste. How did you come to this crew?
So she tells this story of basically it was sort of like she was recruited as tryouts. Oh, all of us players know this is a complete lie, right?
Yep.
She came in as a favor. But she's like, well, she described some of her exploits and how good she was at some of the heists that she had done.
Mhm.
And the crew approached her and was like, we could use someone of your caliber. And then says, and thank goodness they approached me, because otherwise this crew wouldn't be around. I mean, I got them out of harm's way. And then I think she actually I think we've talked this a few times. She pulls out like a little holo vid, and there's some of the exploits where she like bashed the shuttle into the side of the Imperial building, like the security building, and it came down, and she's like, yeah, that's me.
I see. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Why did you want to take out that building? What was important about that building?
Oh, I'm sorry. We were actually being pursued, and there wasn't anything important about that building. It just kind of got in the way. But it was better to hit that building where there was security than it was to hit any of the other buildings where there were civilians or other potential customers. So, and then we came down, and the rest of the crew came out and got us. They told the cops that they were cops. They told security we're security and walked out with us just like nothing had ever happened.
Yes. Take some stones.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't pick us up because we're cowards.
Picked you up because you know about Bria.
I think
She trusted you.
yeah, I think Bade gets a little bit, that kind of breaks through this bravado charm. She looks a little sad and is like, yeah, Bria, like I said, your captain has good taste.
He does. And he'll move over and sit down in another, I'm kind of imagining space beanbag chair kind of deal near Bade, and he'll lean back and close his eyes and stop talking over the music that he never wanted to talk over anyway.
So, and she starts talking over it, and
That's
it's like,
perfect.
yeah. And so how did you meet up with Val? Was it in the Imperial Corps?
Yeah, Val saved my life. He's important to me, and if he's on your side, everything works out.
So
It's like a good luck charm. No,
yeah. How did he save your life?
ran into some Imperial entanglements. Ship I was on was boarded, and he kept me out of. Well, the Imperials, they have a brig. I know there's the spice mines of Kessel, but who knows where we would have ended up.
Probably would have been recruited to join the front lines. That's what they usually do with people. I don't know if you saw this, but down in 1313, they were running tanks through buildings just to knock them down. I mean, they wouldn't have thought anything about putting you out in front with a gun that half worked and seeing what happened. So
Tell him he's tall enough to be a stormtrooper.
Well, that didn't happen, and only Bria was captured, which we will rectify soon.
and I think, you see her eyes light up and she's like, that's right. I'm glad we're on the same page. And smiles real big and is like, Tycho, you're good people. We like you.
Thank you. He gives her a look like he thinks, wow, is she already drunk? Clinks the glass, takes a sniff, and then just throws a little bit back.
She goes back to guzzling. Just
He's told her how to do it. She chooses to do it wrong. That's fine. Just like there's a moment when she's not looking where he gives her a look like,
I think we see that hand reach up to kind of tilt the glass back down, and then like, why even bother?
Exactly. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Nice. So I think the job you've taken is, since we talked about smuggling guns for the rebels, I think that's what we'll do. You have arranged or you've been given information about contact on 1314, where the rebels have the rebels up there have an inn. They have some surplus weapons, and they know the situation is difficult on 1313. So they are going to they've asked you to transport some of this down. And I think I'd like to hear, like Val and Boko, I think you'd be the ones doing the planning. And this isn't to plan the job mechanically, but I think it would be interesting for you two to have a scene, like talking through how you're going to do this, since you're kind of, yeah, you're coming to this from different directions.
If you'd gotten this job, Boko, you, Bria, Bade, the others, how would you think you would tackle this? What would you do?
First thing we would have to do is find some transport, but step one done. And then we, check out who we're delivering to. Make sure we're not walking into something that we can't walk out of easily. And then make sure the stuff that we're transporting is something that we want to transport. Do job and get paid. It's pretty straightforward.
I'm asking more of a slow and silent, brash and explosive. What is this crew used to doing?
More on the explosive side, but not always intentionally. Bria and I especially tend to try going in silent, and sometimes that works. Get in, do a thing, get out. Like I said, things go wrong sometimes, and sometimes in an explosive way. People get hurt, buildings get knocked down, but we get the job done either way.
You've never quit a job, have you?
Don't think we have, no. You always find a way. If there's one thing that this crew excels at, it is adapting to unexpected adversity.
It's a good trait. It's a good trait.
I've had to jump out of a transport once. That worked out okay.
How high up was the transport?
All the way. Most of the way.
That sounds like a good story to have over alcohol.
I agree.
Let me ask you one question, because I think you'll give me a straight answer. How did this crew lose Groff?
That was one of the things that went sideways. We came in stealthy and just immediately went wrong. I think that was Bade's first job with us, maybe. But yeah, we got pinned down in a hangar. Some of the guys laid down some cover fire for us, and while we rescued our target and tangled with the worst, scariest assassin we've ever seen.
Assassin?
Black Sun assassin. We had no idea she would be there, but she was certainly there. Edwin shot her square in the chest and she just brushed it off.
Do you know the name of this assassin?
Oh yeah, Karnak.
So I think this is where the audience just sees him freeze. You know,
Does he freeze? And does Tycho look up? Like, does Tycho know about this? Doesn't have to. I just want to know because either
Can I-
answer is interesting.
let me roll a fortune die or something.
Yeah.
Evens you do. No. How about this? You know, but I don't know that you know.
Yeah, I like whatever. Ex-cop used to picking up on stuff. So yeah, probably like, oh, there's like some history.
Yeah.
And I think he pushes it a little bit. It's like, yeah, she's the one that got Bria sent away.
Really?
Essentially. But we made it out of that job with only one man down.
Only one man down.
And we spent some time drinking after that.
Okay.
Family is what we like to say. We are. Even the little now the last Jawa that walks away when he's done. So yeah. Less of a crew, more of a family. When one of us goes, everyone feels it.
I never could learn Jawa. That was just awful language.
Yeah, I can get like 1 out of every 10 words, but I know most of the swear words. So that's pretty much what he was. Yeah. Can't speak a word of it, but I understand a bit.
I'd like this job to be professional in that I want to show up for the pickup looking good. I want to show up for the drop off looking good. I don't care what we look like in between. I prefer we didn't get seen at all. I want everyone to know that this risen from the ashes of a Firebird crew have evolved into something much more respectable. Not that you weren't respectable before, but
yeah, I would prefer that fewer people knew about our rise from the ashes, but I'm with you.
Well, the other thing is just to pretend like you never existed. I don't think that'll work.
No, not for long.
How about this?
I'm not looking to make a coming out announcement.
How about this? Let's make sure that the right people know.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll follow your lead and do what we do.
Good. Now tell me, I want to end the scene with this, but like, now tell me more about these Dark Lord Faithful you take up with?
Punks.
Something about an e-web? And
Yeah.
then like fade, right?
Nice. So I imagine, and let me know if this isn't how it would play out, but I figure Boko and Tycho would be the ones to talk to each other about like the practical arrangements of getting the crew onto the ship, like where do we sleep, where do we put our stuff, that sort of thing. And maybe that's would be an interesting in for your scene.
Tycho's what, telling people where they stay? Is that what you're thinking the lead in is?
I mean, you have like 6 or 7 new people who need somewhere to stay on the ship. Like
Right.
what parts are off limit, which bunks are free, that sort of. How do things work? The practical day-to-day stuff. You don't
Looks
have
like
to
there's
talk
a-
about that. I figure that's just
Yeah.
the into the scene.
Yeah, it looks like there's about a dozen staterooms plus the captain's room, so it's just a matter of who goes where. Yeah, I'll lead with. So IG can go in the Wookiee's old room. Sure, he doesn't mind.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Can't smell it, so
It's true. Very clever.
the rest of us, I mean, we're used to sleeping on a ship that looks much worse than this, and was, so whoever you think is great, we'll be happy to start off.
You seem like you run the crew after Bria.
I mean,
Wow.
Bria was a leader basically, and I just sort of, I mean, I have a seniority, and I just speak plainly. So some people take that as a commanding attitude, and I guess I never thought to stop them.
You were a stormtrooper?
No, no, I was just street security.
Just. That sounds like a step up from being a stormtrooper.
Yeah, maybe. I would not want to be one of them.
No.
At least we had some, some humanity to us, even if we were cops, not just faceless drones going out to shoot and be shot. Most of us did anyway, but
How did you end up in street sec? This room, I think, suits you. It has
oh yeah, this is great.
it's a nice
Yeah,
view.
right by the stairs, so I'll hear people coming in and out, but it doesn't bother me. I sleep.
No. Look. And
Yeah.
Tycho walks over and he swipes a thing, and you see there's a little porthole.
Oh,
opens up. See?
oh, I've never really been on a ship that works before, so it'll take some getting used to all the bits that do things instead of bits that you just bang on until they're the right shape. That's really nice. That's really nice.
Tycho leans against the wall but doesn't block the porthole. So what got you into street sec?
My brother and I were kind of left to our own devices here, and we grew up pretty rough and got to know some of the cops in the way that kids who are on the wrong side get to know cops. And somehow I wound up staying there. I could have wound up a lot worse, but it was less something that I chose, like a lot of things, and more just something that happens. You don't think about it when it's going on, and then before I knew it, I was the one rounding kids up.
What happened to your brother?
He was not a cop. He decided to stay doing what he did, and he crossed the wrong people, slugs in the cartel, and one thing leads to another. They want to put pressure on me, so they put a lot of pressure on him until he broke physically. And then my partner found out that my brother was in with a cartel and that I had been helping them out a little to get them to ease off of him. And everything went to shit. So
That's how you ended up leaving the force?
that's how I wound up being asked to leave the force.
Did Did your brother
I don't like
survive?
criminals on the force openly, although there are plenty. No, they the Huts made an example of them. They didn't need him anymore when I was on the force.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah. So
Well, this crew seems a lot better off with you around, that's for sure.
yeah, at least they can take care of themselves.
So Bates said that she was going through some kind of trial basis, and I just lay out the bullshit story that Bade fed me.
Trial. She did okay. Well, I wouldn't necessarily tell her that's not true. Maybe to her it is, but yeah, no. she was just someone we needed for the job, so we brought her on, and she did great. So she's family now.
That sounds a lot more likely. Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot more straightforward and just business as usual. She did fly the plane into that building, so that part's true.
That part is true, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of it. It's pretty impressive. The two of them on that. Yeah, that was just rolling with the punches, so to speak.
You saw the galley void tube refreshers just right outside down the hall. Turbo lifts are a little funky. I prefer the
Stairs,
ladders.
Yeah,
yeah. Your call. If you need anything and you can't find it after looking for a little while, ask me. I'll help.
Yeah. So you and the captain go way back?
We do. He's
good.
He's a dear friend. He's important.
Did you know Bria well?
We're cousins.
Yeah.
But no, not really. He definitely knows her better than I do.
Yeah, should hope so. All right. Galley's over here.
Yeah.
Great.
It's mostly crackers.
It's better than the what if we caught out the scrapyard.
Oh, well, yes, that is
Like,
certainly true.
It's food on purpose instead of by circumstance. Step up.
Welcome aboard.
Happy to be here.
And Tycho's done with you. He takes off.
Shoving crackers in my mouth.
Crackers don't matter.
Nice. We're coming up on the hour. I think we should take a 5-minute break. And then I think Bade and Val maybe run into each other somewhere. We can have a little scene with you two. But 5 minutes. Yeah. So we're back again after a slightly longer break than planned because we talked about other things. Yeah. So Val and Bade, where do you think you bump into each other?
How about if we bump into each other at the captain's quarters? What do you think
Okay.
about that? Yeah.
Yeah. What would I be going there for?
Do you think you stay there?
I think the one thing that my quarters has that I care about most is the best, I don't know what they call them in Star Wars, but the best shower I can make. Like, this thing is constantly being fine-tuned and using materials that should be going to take care of the ship and stuff like that. It is an immaculate, what are showers called in Star Wars? Like, is there a word for it?
I think it's a refresher. That's the term I've seen.
Love
refresher.
it.
I think you come in and I'm actually in the refresher, like taking a long hot soak.
Oh yeah. This episode has been dripping with sex. In my mind. In my mind. I thought Tycho was trying to seduce me in our first scene together. I don't know if Rich got that, but it felt like to me. How does the captain feel about nudity? But you're in a bath, right? You're not in a shower.
No, I think I'm in the shower. I imagine this isn't something that's actually going to have a bath. I'm in the shower, and I think there's steam rolling out of your bathroom.
Yeah,
It probably
yeah,
shouldn't be. And I think
yeah.
you hear it cut off. And I think I come out, I come out clothed, but I think I'm drying my hair. Unless you want to catch me before that, but I think I'm drying my hair. I don't
And
even
why-
see you.
Why are you clothed? And why is it not just a towel around you or a robe or something?
I
Like
came
my
in to,
robe with my initials on it or something like that.
I came in to clean off, right?
Uh-huh.
And I took a long time here in the shower. While you guys were inspecting the rest of the ship and saying this is where people will stay, I was at my leisure, right? I
Right.
was just luxuriating down here, but I think I'm done, right? So I'm
Okay.
gonna put my clothes back on.
You got okay. Sorry. In my mind, I was like, why did you take a shower with your clothes on? You put your clothes back
Oh,
on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like-
I think
yeah. Now
you
I
hear
get
it cut off, then I put on
Now I
my
get it.
clothes. Yeah.
Okay. Enjoy the shower.
I think she starts and is like, oh, yeah, it's nice.
I have a few things in life that I want to always have, and a good shower is one of them. I can't get the coffee maker to give me the coffee that I want, but this shower, it delivers.
And I think she
So-
walks up and she puts her arm in your arm
Uh-huh.
and she says, I was talking to Tycho, and I think you and I can be friends.
I agree with the latter, but what does Tycho have to do with it?
Oh, I was talking to him about how good your taste is.
What do you want? Not now or next week, but what do you want, babe? What do you want for your life?
That's kind of a question. I don't know if anyone's ever asked me that before. I guess I want to be around and still kicking, in the future. I mean, from day to day, you never know what's going to happen. And you live in the now and you make plans for tomorrow, but you never know what's going to happen next week or next month. So I guess as long as things work out now and things work out tomorrow, I hope that they work out in a week. Does that make sense? Why? What do you want?
Well, just to clarify, you're saying you simply want to make sure that you're alive. Yes.
Yeah, and maybe better off than I had been yesterday. Yeah.
Better off. Well, I just wanted to let you know that if you stick with us, you stick with me, you will definitely be better off.
Okay. This is a pretty big ship. What did you do before you came to see us?
What did I do? Oh, I know what's going to happen. He's like, I thought you were much more of a what's going on now kind of person.
Yeah, but I look around and I see some empty cabins and I see, that you guys probably couldn't have handled this all by yourselves. So why aren't those people better off?
Well, you don't know where they came from, but you're making assumptions.
So you say they're better off now than they were?
Out of character to clarify, are you talking about like the crew that we have, or the fact that the crew is missing?
The fact that crew is missing.
Okay, let me rewind a little bit. I
Okay.
apologize. All right. You asked if they're better off. Well, they're alive, if that's your question. They just didn't agree with how the rebellion wanted to continue. They wanted more of a status quo, smuggling, and when we started refusing certain customers, they started feeling like that this wasn't the opportunity they wanted. So they didn't stick with me, you see.
So you're saying the rebellion's more important than business?
You have to have some moral, ethical guide in your life, babe.
Sure. Like the rest of us, we stick together. And we've got a tight crew.
I've discovered that. I've been asking questions. I will let you continue using my shower in the future. But if you hear any of the people that we pick up going forward talking about this not being the opportunity that they want, I want you to let me know. I want you to keep your ears open, your eyes open. Can you do that for me?
Are you asking me to be a snitch?
I'm asking you to be a prophet, an oracle. Inform me of what the future holds so that I might change it.
Yeah. I think we can make a bargain.
Now, let me show you the features you didn't use. Cool.
Is that a good end of scene?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Great. Can I have a scene with Boko now?
Yeah, I was just about to suggest that to bring the two of you together. Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah.
Where do you want to meet up, Boko?
Let's see. Gosh, I don't know. Somewhere.
Then Bade
Yeah.
finds you in the hallway, grabs you
Yeah.
by the arm, and drags you back to one of the upper deck staterooms.
Excellent. Sounds good.
She cranks the music up so it's deafeningly loud, and then leans in and shouts in your ear, Val and Tycho have been asking a lot of questions. I don't want to be overheard. They asked me, where I came from and what I'd done and what I wanted, and then promised it all to me.
Yeah, they asked me about your whole the trial period initiation thing that didn't happen.
They're trying to work us against each other. But something you should know, and this is whenever I pull up the pad that has the information, and I'm like, when I first saw Val, I thought he was working in with the Imperials, but it turns out it's a different chain code. He has a brother.
Oh,
Don't know much about it, but pretty high connected in the Imperials. And I'm not sure this is a group we can completely trust.
well done, Bade. That's really good to know.
Now, we should work with them and
Agreed.
maybe will eventually, work together, or maybe eventually we'll take over. But, we shouldn't really trust them. And this job that we're talking about, exposing our friends to people with Imperial connections, makes me uneasy. So we should watch that. But it's a good test.
It is. I'm curious to find out more about this brother and how we can leverage that.
For now, we should hold that information to ourselves so that
Agreed.
so that we know more about what's happening. Yeah.
Mark, don't forget you also know about the Karnak assassin thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Another connection that our captain has, he didn't say explicitly, but it's definitely got some history with the assassin, Karnak. He, a look of recognition and nostalgia, maybe, across his face when I brought her up.
Was he frightened?
He didn't seem frightened, even though I was telling him how fucking scary she is.
So it seems like it might not be that he was her target at some point, like we are.
No, it seems like they knew each other somehow.
Do you think he hired her to take out Bria?
That seems unlikely, but not completely impossible. Again, something to keep an eye on. Yeah,
I'm good there. Yeah.
Nice. We have a couple of mechanical things to take care of, but I want to make sure. Are there any more scenes you'd like to have? Would Taiko and Val like to check in after we've had the rest of this, or do you feel like you're good where you are?
I know what the ending to the episode would look like to me, which is like the ship unmooring to go do the first job. So I just want that to be like the end of it, but I don't know if I'd have anything else in between it. But maybe just a silent fly through of just all of the whispering and gossip that goes on the ship. What about you, Rich? You think you got anything?
I think I'm all right.
Yeah.
I don't know if Andisha was ending the session or just checking in with us though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, not. We have some more stuff to
Oh, I
deal with. I
apologize.
just wanted to make sure that that I didn't rush into that. If there were any more scenes you wanted to.
I apologize.
No. It's fine. It's fine. I just wanted to check in to see if there were any more character scenes you wanted to do before we finish up the mechanical bits. Cool. And we'll get into the mechanical bits. I have put down on your crew tab, or the smugglers tab, I should say. I have put down a gang of rovers, and I've added the gang members you had from before to that. But I assume we'll put in some more names once we get to know some of the people on the ship. I've added the chop shop droid as an expert. And I think we should choose what kind of vehicle you have. Because I think, like I said, I think it makes sense that you have some sort of smaller vehicle that you can use. And do you think this would be like could be a truck, it could be a sled, it could be like a small shuttle or something? I don't know what do you think makes sense?
I think like a speeder truck sounds fun. I like the low to the ground as juxtaposed to the ship that can go way up high and kind of stuff.
That truck that we were shooting at all of the you were sniping, Boca, right?
Yeah, the
And-
drug smuggler, drug delivery guy.
no,
Yeah,
the one
yeah.
where we met Groff, where he was.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of. So yeah, cool. So that's that. You also get to pick one new advance for the smugglers. So you can pick one of the special abilities, or you can pick 2 upgrades, or you can spend both of your upgrades to get another cohort, which would be another gang or another expert. So this is
I
a
really like the
chance-
abilities that reduce heat.
Yeah, I'm into that too.
Yeah, just passing through. During downtime, take -1 heat. When your heat is 4 or less, you get +1 die to deceive people when you pass yourselves off as ordinary citizens. That would definitely be useful. Is that
There's also all hands,
All
which
hands
is
is nice too. Yeah.
during downtime, one of your cohorts can reduce heat or do a long-term project or acquire an asset.
Yeah, that's good too.
I like
Those
the
are the only
link
2 I see.
for the oak thorn, that the first one you posted, Steve, the truck. I
Oh,
think
okay.
I think that's the one that was actually being used in the game.
Yeah, that's exactly the one.
Good.
Perfect. I mean, I like camouflage as a crew upgrade. Vehicles are concealed at rest, which is kind of like a hidden without being hidden. But yeah, all hands. I like that one.
All
Do
hands
some-
gives us a little bit more flexibility because we can reduce
Yeah.
heat and do 2 other things.
Yeah,
Just to point out.
Yeah.
I'm for that.
Cool.
Yeah, the downside is that it's a die roll because you're
That's true.
Yeah.
But they have, let's see, your cohort right now, your gang is rolling 2 dice. They're tier 2. You are tier 2, so they are quality 2. And the expert is rolling 3 dice because experts get an extra die, but they're only 1 individual. And if it's an immobile chop shop droid, it's probably not very good at reducing heat, if that's what you want to do. But you have
Disposing of evidence.
yeah. But I mean, rolling 2 dice, if you send your gang out to reduce heat, that's 2 dice. That's roughly what you would get yourselves. I think you've mostly been rolling 2 dice when you've been doing reduce heat. So let's go. Everyone fine? Everyone okay with going for all hands?
I like it.
And then Kai, the one that you mentioned could be a good one for the next time. We might want to write that down. Is that camouflage?
Yeah, camouflage under crew upgrades.
Yeah. Vehicles are concealed at
Oh,
rest.
nice.
Yeah, and I'll note that elite rovers would mean that your gang of rovers would have, I think it means they have 1 quality higher, so they would be rolling 1 more die for things they do.
Wow.
But that
Oh, working
maybe
on that steady might be good long-term project too there.
And then turf, like we might want to
Yeah.
get another parking spot. So
Yeah.
So for next session, we'll get into the job. We still have downtime actions for Val and Tycho. Since you came in right at the start of downtime, I think it's fair that you get to do some preparations. You need to pick your favorite type of job. The types of job that you do are, or sorry, actually, I think it's a cargo type. Yeah. Yeah, I think you have smugglers have a favored cargo type. So it's arcane weird, arms, contraband, or passenger. You want to be gun runners, you want to do weird stuff, you want to do and this is just you get a bonus, you get an extra downtime action to prepare for that type of job.
Passengers will give us a lot of cool NPCs to talk to.
True.
That would be, we would be people smuggling.
Yeah.
Right?
Like could be agents, could be people who need to get out or in or something.
Could be
Yeah,
Yoda.
people sounds fun.
You never know.
Is that the one you want to go for? Passengers?
Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
Cool. Passengers it is. So let's get into XP, I think, because we usually run out of time, and we'll do XP, we'll do stars and wishes, and we'll see where we are with that. Cool. So XP for smugglers. You did not execute a successful operation. I don't think you contended with challenges above your current station. I don't think you bolstered your crew's reputation either. Maybe develop a new one, since you used to be professional, brutal, and loyal. You pushed the loyal thing, I think, quite strongly internally in your discussions. I don't know how that meshes with how Val and Tycho, the kind of rep you've been building before.
So did we move the reputation over?
No, I did not copy those over. Let me do that.
They're slightly different under smugglers.
Yeah,
I don't
and
see
that,
loyal.
yeah, that's, I haven't updated the, because I changed the crew sheets a little bit.
Okay.
And I haven't done that for the smugglers, but now I've copied in the reputation.
I wasn't sure if we wanted to change any of the reputation.
Yeah, I just copied them over. The drop downs are all there. So if you feel like you want to change anything.
What do you guys think?
Hmm.
I mean, I would go clean slate and just say that we're going to start being professional, since that's what Val said at the beginning of the session.
Yeah, that's not
We're
bad.
trying to be a new gang, you know.
Yeah, I think we should definitely leave behind brutal.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Unless we earn it back.
Let's do that. No brutal. So professional, only professional, or do you want something else as well?
We had loyal before, right?
Yeah.
Let's stick with loyal. Because he's loyal to Bria in some form or fashion.
And Tycho's loyal to Val.
Yeah.
But
for now,
I don't think Boko and Bade are loyal to Val and Tycho yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
Ooh. I think loyal was one we added in. Wasn't on the original list, but we added. Yeah, cool. So professional, loyal. So that's that. I do think you expressed the goals, drives, inner conflict, and essential nature of the crew. That's kind of all we did. So I think you hit that one twice, which means you get another advance, and you have 1 XP left over. So do you want to use that to take the camouflage
Camouflage.
thing? That means you get another upgrade as well. You could start working on steady, which means that the next time you get an advance, you can put both of those things and you have the extra stress point.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. What do you know?
Cool. Let's do that.
Stress is good.
After we get that advance, I like the idea of smuggler's rigging. Of having, you know, a smuggler's den where we could secret people now. Yeah.
Are you talking about smuggling compartments or smugglers rigging?
Well, is there smuggler compartments? I think there's just smuggler rigging, which is two concealed. Oh, that's carried items.
Yeah. It means you
Oh.
of that's your personal stuff.
I'm talking about the smuggling compartments. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Can we convert something like the workshop into like what Stephen was talking about, or added to the list or something like that?
What do
you
you
were
mean
saying
convert
like
the workshop?
well, so what was it you wanted again? You wanted a place to like keep the people for a while. What you were thinking? Can you repeat that?
Just now,
Yeah.
that basically with smuggling compartments, since we are cargo type passengers, we could have cargo compartments where we might end up smuggling people. Right? Maybe it's just, you know, an empty floor like what we've seen in the movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I would either ask to add that to the layer column or convert one of the items, like, or maybe choose hidden. Maybe hidden would, in that case, would be the hidden cargo.
There
instead
is
of-
a smuggling compartments advancement on there's a special ability for it.
Oh, my bad.
It's the third one down. Yeah.
All right, I'll be quiet then.
Well, I'd read that and then I saw smugglers rigging and I got the two confused and yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I think all of the crew types have a type of rigging which deals with the equipment stuff. Like
Okay.
I think Bravo's rigging is to get 2 free load of weapons and armor. So even if you have a light load, you can still have some extra stuff. Or if you have a heavy load, you can have a lot of guns with. Cool. Let's do individual XP. I'll do this in character keeper order, which means Boko is first.
Hey.
So I don't think you addressed the challenge with tracking or violence,
I don't think so, no.
but I do think you get a chance to express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
Yeah.
I think
I
a
might
couple
even
times.
say twice for that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma?
I don't believe I did. Unless,
You got paranoid?
paranoid,
You feel like
but I don't
you
think I
hit that?
struggled with it. I think that was just me and Bade being cautious.
Yeah, cool. That's 2 XP for you then. So, Bade, did you address a challenge with theft or naivete? Naivete. I cannot pronounce French words imported into English.
So I don't think I stole anything. But it might have been a little bit naive for me to mouth off about how I got recruited into the gang to Tycho, because it was easy for him to check and find out I was lying.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I think with Val, I expressed my beliefs, you know, questioning whether or not he was loyal to his crew and his prior crew and what they were up with.
And I think your background came out in your scene with Tycho, with the drinking and that sort of thing.
That I was uncouth. Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, you're a street kid, and that shows. That's
Yeah.
that's your background.
Yep.
Did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma?
My trauma is unstable, so I don't think so. I didn't blow up at anyone or anything like that. My vices are pleasure, and I don't think I got in trouble for using Val's shower or for taking over one of the state crew things. So I don't think my vice caused me any trouble. So
Cool. So that's 1, 2, 3, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. Cool. So Val, did you address a challenge with indignation or by putting others' needs ahead of your own?
That's what I'm supposed to be role playing. Interesting. I kind of put Babe's needs out there. Like I was trying to say, like, you know, what do you want and how can I take care of that for you? Indignation. Wow, I got to figure out how to bring that in. So I guess maybe 1 on that one. If it's kind of a stretch, but I think it's good.
Yeah, I'm not always super fond of the XP triggers, these role-playing triggers that they put into the expanded playbooks.
Yeah. They obviously haven't seen as much playtesting.
Yeah. I think some of them are cool. Some of them really show what the character type is about. But this one is a bit weird since we translated it into something that's not.
Well, the thing is, like, in my mind, I've got dual classing. So I'm trying to do the stranded captain at the same time as doing the mother. I don't even see the XP triggers for the stranded, but maybe it was more like, you know, when you told people to do something or something like that.
It's address a challenge with patience or fury.
Yeah.
It's very Ahab, that part of it.
Got it. All right. Yeah, so 1 XP on that.
Yeah. Let me get back to that. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Well, we talked about the crew that I lost, so that's some of my background. And I talked about having to have morals and ethos, you know, to guide you. That was the same conversation though, so it's kind of double dipping.
I would also say that you showed part of your background whenever you froze whenever Kernok came up, and that caused trouble.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So that puts us up to 3, I think. I don't think you struggled with issues from your vice or trauma, or do you feel like you did that?
Nope.
Unless your vice is
well, the vice I have for pleasure is the refresher.
Way as possible. Sorry, I talked over you. I shouldn't have.
No, I was talking over you. Please say what you were saying.
No, I just unless your vice is seducing street kids, which is putting it very creepily. But
yeah, I was just like, my vice is pleasure, and I defined that as the refresher.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any problems with it, except for someone used it without asking me.
Yeah. So I think that's 3 for you.
Okay, I'm with it.
And finally, Tycho, did you address a challenge with charm or recklessness?
Definitely not recklessness, but I feel that Tycho was trying to charm some information from both Boko and Bade. It was his assignment.
Yeah, I do think you hit that one twice, and you were quite charming with Val as well. Even if question if it was a challenge, but you played into that. He's very charming slime ball. It feels like.
Nice, yay! So, did it feel like I hit it twice or just once or what?
Yeah, I think you hit it twice. Yeah.
Cool.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I feel like beliefs and background and talking about Val having saved his life and saved him from some Imperials is something that I hit.
Yeah, and you talked about Bria as well. I believe
Yeah.
bringing her. So I think that one's twice as well.
I will take it. I definitely am hungry for XP.
Yeah, but I don't think you struggled with issues from your vice promo.
No, two things. First of all, I'd like to take a downtime action to hit insight for him because that's one of the crew things where I can double dip. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. And then this is a check-in. Is everybody cool if Tycho pursues, possibly hooks up with Jita? It would not be like an ongoing thing, but more of a potential vice type thing. And also she's pretty, he's pretty. It seems like it's a thing that could happen.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, I've checked off one of your downtime actions.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. That was the XP. Let's do Stars and Wishes. Do we want to do it? Let's do it off camera, just in case we want to bring up something.
Exactly.
So by internet,